Hi guys, welcome to Tanked Up. We are the video game playing, craft beer drinking podcast. We're back for another week of hot games and cold beers.
Oh, please don't make that the usual slogan.
No, that won't come back again. I'm Ben Nova.
You hated it as soon as you were saying.
I did,
like,
as soon as it came out, and I thought,
shit,
God damn. I'm Ben Nova, and I'm joined by Alex Malpass.
Yeah.
And I'm joined by Aadil Koji.
Hello.
We're back for another week. We're going to talk about games. We're going to play some beers. We're not going to play
Play
beers.
some beers and drink some games.
Yeah.
We don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Who knows?
Do we have a theme this week for people to look forward to, but not fast forward to?
Not fast forward to. We're going to talk a little bit about backwards compatibility, because Xbox One has come along and said that they're going to bring it in. So we're going to chat about that a little bit later. First, we're going to talk about games we've played, but we're going to talk about
even
beers.
more first. We're going to have a beer.
Even more first.
In the firstest of things.
It's because you guys are very thirsty.
Oh, that was nice. I like that. So we've got pale, a steam, and a saison. Is it?
The saison. Yeah.
I guess we should have the saison first, then, shouldn't we?
Yes.
It's a wild beer.
Epic saison.
Epic saison. Yeah.
Does it say what makes it epic?
No.
It does say on the front of the bottle, crisp, zesty, and spicy.
I imagine it's just a name, or it's just a word that the marketing people at Wild Beer came up with. It's probably just one dude.
I'd say epic is one of the most abused words today. That and awesome, I think. Although I'm quite guilty of awesome and get annoyed by the epic abuse.
Yeah, I think we say awesome quite a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I definitely do. In text messages and over the internet, awesome is used profusely.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually described myself as being in awe. The feeling of awe.
Yeah.
Ooh, amazing.
Oh, but it's just some awe. Just some awe.
It's a religious word, though, isn't it? Because what else are you going to be in awe of apart from God? You're not going to be in awe of, this saison. Oh, I'm in awe of the saison. I like it. That's all.
Well, it's not an awesome saison, it's epic, so it's...
Well, is it, though?
Smells good. Smells quite light and floral.
Very, very light. Citrusy. Say that about everything, don't we? Everything's fucking citrusy, this, fucking coppery, that.
That's not citrusy.
No? Alright.
Not really. It's nice.
In honor of Pride Week here in Halifax, I'm having Skittles. And
you're not drinking this evening, are you?
No, but I am tasting the rainbow, and I will tell you, the yellow Skittle is fairly citrusy.
Nice. This is nice.
It is nice. It's very balanced. There's nothing really that smashes you.
No.
It's
got a kind of perfumey quality to it. Subtle though. It's nice. And then there's grapes, green grapes.
Yeah. Lovely.
Very, very fresh. It should be called Fresh, except they've already got a beer called Fresh.
Yeah.
Does it taste epic?
It's not like the Odyssey or what do I mean by epic? I don't know.
I don't know.
I would take that epic would mean that it would have a big flavour to it.
How long is the finish? Maybe the finish is just 10 minutes long.
Quite long.
It's definitely not 10 minutes long.
Yeah, I'd be surprised in a non-citrusy, not too hoppy, pleasant, grapey beer to have a giant finish.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a finish. It just sort of stops without you noticing.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of epic.
Yeah. It's like you
a
fell
novella
asleep in the movie kind of thing.
Oh.
It's very, very carbonated though. It's like Coke.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't mind. It's like a British beer style. You're supposed to have it completely flat and warm or whatever. But I quite like a cold fizzy beer.
Yes, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a warm day as well, so this is going down very well.
That's what it is, warm. It's sort of muggy though, isn't it? It's kind of rainy warm.
What, in Bristol?
Yeah.
It is rainy and muggy here in Halifax as well. Turns out the weather's basically the same on the other side of the Atlantic.
No difference whatsoever. Right, who is kicking us off this week with a game?
Well, I haven't played any games, so...
I guess that's Alex. None at all?
I've only played a couple of games of FIFA. I've done almost nothing but work and fall asleep and wake up and work again. It's really horrible. It's not horrible, but...
Still working hard in the brewery?
Yes.
Are you still shoveling?
I didn't shovel today, but generally I am, yeah. You get rotated around what you do. So I'm doing all of the, like, unskilled manual labour jobs at the moment.
So what else do you do? You mentioned shoveling, so what's the other thing you do?
That's called digging out, which I know is funny, obviously. So other things I've done, like steam cleaning casks, which means you get like a 9-gallon cask that's made of like stainless steel or whatever, and you get a massive like steam gun thing.
Steam the fuck out outside. We were talking about this last week.
Yeah,
so I do that sort of sniper rifle sized power hose.
Right.
Yeah, and then so that's to steam clean, and then you sterilize them by putting them on a rack that takes 5, and then
you send them to Iraq.
I send them to Iraq. That's right.
Outsourcing the cleaning.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing most of today, where it was like we need 172 casks.
Wow.
Steam sterilized just for today's what was coming out of the fermenter, and like each of these things weighs about 10 kilos, and in the course of the day you move each one probably 4 times, either up or down or across the yard. I think they worked out that you could quite easily lift a ton in the day just by lifting casks.
So I take it you go to the gym less?
I don't go to the gym anymore, and fuck that. You can barely stay awake when I get in, which is why we're doing a podcast at like about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It feels like right now.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. So.
Yeah, it does feel very early though. It does feel very early.
So yeah, I'm just doing stuff like that, and other random sundry tasks where I'll just be like, this needs to be done. All the equipment, spare parts that get kept in these massive bathtubs of sterile, like water mixed with some sterilizing acid. This doesn't sound very interesting. I hear myself speaking, and it doesn't sound very interesting.
It's interesting enough.
Yeah, I do brewery things, shit like that.
What you would expect in a brewery.
Yeah. Essentially, what I do is
dancing,
I wander around.
drinking.
There is drinking. I wander around inside a massive, like, factory thing. It's got huge, colossal machines around, and it's a bit like being in, like, the Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but with like loads of health and safety violations everywhere, like massive pipes just all over, and like the floor's constantly wet. It's so easy to slip up, and there's all these like sharp edges and stuff everywhere that you could impale yourself, and no one wears any kind of protective gear or anything like this.
Do you feel like every time you get into work, you're almost at the start of a Japanese RPG?
Yeah.
You just imagine that an airship is just going to come towards you. You get invited on an epic quest.
I was thinking
something.
It's very steampunk.
I was thinking original run Doctor Who, like 3rd, 4th Doctor set.
I don't think I ever watched Doctor Who.
Never mind then.
It's a bit like though, if anyone watched The Crystal Maze, there was one
the industrial zone.
Industrial zone. Yeah. That's basically where I work now. Did that export its way over to?
No.
Google it later, you'll enjoy it.
Find out. See, look for Richard O'Brien.
Yeah,
he's a character.
He wrote was it Little Shop of Horrors?
No, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Horror Picture
Show.
Yeah, excellent.
He's the guy who wrote that. He was the presenter. It's kind of kooky presenter.
I'm going with batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy, yeah.
The politically correct term.
Yes.
So Alex, you didn't manage to play any games.
I only played a touch of FIFA, and I managed to stay in Division 3.
I was just going to ask you, if the one thing that we all want the update on is
Yeah,
is Bong Tudor still in Division 3?
Yes. Yeah, so I think last time I was saying how I'd managed to save the season on the final game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was quite nice. Nothing as good as that has happened yet. And yeah, I'm mid-table, mid-season. So
Hovering.
I should be fine.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not
you're never going to get dropped down if you don't finish the season.
That's true, yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather get dropped down and continue to have that.
You'd rather play the game than not play the game. It's an odd concept, but I see where you're coming from.
Although I do get lots of kudos for being in Division 3, though, obviously. People stop me on the street and say
just congratulate you.
Yeah. Kudos, sir. Kudos, they say to me.
Because you've got your hat on that says Bong to it, so they instantly recognise who you are.
That's right.
And on the one side, there's FIFA 14, and on the other side, it says Div 3. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. It's a good hat.
A lot of text for a hat, really.
I've got a big head. So lots of space to write on. I did find out today at work that I was in on Sunday and talking to the brewer a little bit, and it turns out I'm a year older than him, 2 years older than him or something, which is fine because he's been at Bath Ales for 8 years or something.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's going to be my boss at this point. But and in my old job, I was used to people 10 years younger than me being my boss, which is so it's fine. But he told me that when he said in conversation to some of the other guys that I was 32, that they'd all been shocked, and that the consensus had been that I was definitely much older than that, and somewhere in my 40s was the quote.
Oh dear!
It may be time to shave the old beard off.
I was going to say
there's a kind of silver tip going on there. It might be making me look older, but fuck it. I'm in the beer industry. I need to have a massive beard.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a requisite for the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beard.
I saw this great Bertrand Russell T-shirt once where it's just Russell's face, and it says at the top, "So you think you're a philosopher?" ? And then underneath it says, "You don't even own a pipe." So you think you're a brewer? You don't even have a beard. I think works with that one.
Nice. It's good. It's good. I'm going to roll straight into the game that I played.
Excellent.
Because as I did last week with you, Aadil, and I've been playing something similar, I have been playing something similar to FIFA.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, an ice hockey game.
It's not. It's a football game, but it's a car football game. And it's called Rocket League. It's on PlayStation 4. It's free. PS Plus.
It's also on PC.
It is also on PC. It only came out 2 weeks ago towards the start of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you're a car.
Yeah.
That is rocket powered. So you have boosts and things you drive back towards, and all how you control a car. But you can also jump and do flips in the air and do the corkscrews through the air. And basically, you've got to hit a ball into a goal and stop a ball being hit into your goal. It's just football with cars.
It's 4 aside.
Sorry,
it's 4 aside. I think.
You can play 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, or 4-on-4, and it makes them very different. Tactically, having those different levels of different team sizes makes it very different each time you play.
Is it like Micro Machines, sort of top down, looking at?
No. You're. It's almost third person, so you're sat just in behind the car. Mm-hmm.
It's like any of those open world games when you drive, like GTA 5.
Yeah.
Sort of.
As the camera sits just above the.
I'm just trying to picture how, because if you imagine playing FIFA with a third-person camera, it'd be really hard to get an idea of what the hell was going on in the pitch.
So there's 2 different camera views, and you can switch between them as you're playing. There's the camera view which just faces forward, so it's always sat behind, or there's a camera which follows the ball, so it will always be looking at the ball. So what will happen is the camera will rotate around your car. If the ball is, say behind you, then you're starting to see the front of your car, so you have to turn to move towards the ball. And I play that way, so the camera is always centered on the ball, so I can always make my way towards it. So the way I play is very aggressive and always attacking and hitting the ball. I'm not very defensive. I often miss the ball as I'm jumping to hit it. I've let in several goals trying to actually defend. So I thought it was probably best if I just smash other cars and
I think that
hit the ball
there's a
as
level
hard as
of realism
possible.
there, because if you were driving a car trying to hit a football, you probably would mix.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
I think that's where the realism ends, really.
I saw some gameplay, and it seems like you get one large jump and then a second smaller jump that you can then point in a direction, so you can do a backflip or move forward or roll in the air left or right.
Yeah, that's right. So you can jump towards the ball, and then if you're skilled enough, you can, direct the ball when you hit it. So if you're coming at it from an angle and you flip into it, it's going to push it in a different direction as if you flip away from it, or if you do a backflip or a forward flip, and so you can get quite skillful with it. And I've seen some other people playing it who are very good and can direct the ball. The ball's just it's bounced off of a wall. It's a sort of big walled arena, so there's no sort of throw-ins or anything like that. It's just
the play doesn't ever stop unless there's a goal, right?
Unless there's a goal, exactly. And I've seen people, the ball sort of bounce off the wall, it's being crossed in, or another player has hit the ball into the thing, and just see people boost across the field, jump, and then manage to direct the ball in when you don't think there's any chance that it's going in whatsoever. It's quite funny to watch some of the games. I'm not really a big watcher of other people playing, but to see some other people playing this game, because it is so frantic and just so fast paced, so many own goals. You just knock the ball into your own net so easy. If you're trying to defend and you jump and hit it at the wrong angle, or someone, as you jump, another player smashes into you because they've jumped, and that then knocks you into the ball and knocks it in. It is fun. I've been playing a lot of it, and because the matches are 5 minutes, and the only time the timer stops is when a goal has been scored. You then have a 3-second countdown and it starts again. It is just frantic and fast paced, and you just roll through games so quickly. I've got up to about semi-pro. Just sort of you rank up through a few levels based on how well you've done the game. So if you score a goal, you get a certain amount of points. If you assist, you get a certain amount of points. If you're the first to touch a ball at kick-off, you get some points, and that then levels you up. And at the moment, it appears that leveling you up only changes the group of people that you play with online. It doesn't seem to have any sort of unlock benefits, but you do. I think the more you play, I'm not sure whether it's tied to the number of games that you play or different things, but there are unlocks. They're only cosmetic, so you can unlock a different pattern for the car that you're using, or a hat. You can wear a hat for the car.
How does a hat on a car work?
How does a car jumping work? But I've unlocked a pirate hat.
Awesome.
Sombrero. They're both very good.
Fez?
No, I think there's possibly a fez. I've not seen one yet.
There'll be a top hat.
There's a crown.
Oh, nice. There's a mechanic chain here in Canada, which is called Napa. I don't remember what it stands for, but they're like, oil change, odd fixes, standard chain. But their symbol is like a hard hat.
Right.
And their vehicles wear little, about 2 feet in diameter hard hats. So I've actually seen a car on the road with a hat. So it is definitely possible. I'll try and dig up a picture.
All right. So on that bombshell, shall we have a beer?
I think so.
So this is Anchor Brewing
Liberty Ale.
Liberty Ale, yeah.
Which is the only American beer we have this evening.
Yeah. So Anchor, San Francisco-based brewery. They have some connection to when Prohibition happened. I think it's something like they were the only brewery that could still make beer, or something like when it finished, they were the only ones that still had the same building. So it's something meaning that Anchor's the only one that brewed before in the same premises and still brews today at the same
right.
So something like that, so that the brewery is continuous, where all of the other American ones fell out of business in Prohibition.
And it's a pale ale, did you say?
It's a Liberty Ale. It doesn't say what type of beer that is.
But they've been doing this for a long time. So you
yeah.
would imagine that it should be very good.
Well, I had a steam beer by them. Because that's their famous style. And I know it's okay, but
Yeah, we've had a couple of steam beers on the in other episodes, and they've never really been fantastic.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just that style that's not in vogue as such. Thank you very much.
well, looks like
Very similar colour to the
Yeah.
wild beer.
It looks like a little darker. Or is
maybe a little bit, not much.
Smells nice. Very different smell to the wild beer. Not as floral. It's a very concerting face.
There's a bit of orange in there.
Yeah.
Very mild, coppery notes.
Yeah, not too coppery though. Not like the crepe beer, the golden ale we had last week.
No. Okay.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of an aftertaste. Sticks around for a little while.
There's not much to it. It's quite refreshing, I suppose.
Is
Be
it
nice on a hot day.
boring or just standard, if you will? Like, is it a beer you would have a few of if it was present, or is it a beer that you'd be like, oh, I guess I'll have that?
No, I quite like it. I mean, it's quite nice. It's just trying to pigeonhole it. It's quite hard.
Yeah, I mean the nose is quite orangey, and it has a sort of an orangey sort of start to it on the taste, but that doesn't stick around a huge amount. Although right at the end of the aftertaste, you might get a little bit back.
Yeah, it's got the bitterness of like orange peel or something.
Like zest?
Yeah.
So, on that note, I will say that the one thing that doesn't taste much like oranges is the orange Skittle.
What does it taste like?
It tastes a little bit like powdered orange, like you get in like Fun Dips, or I don't remember if you had this in the UK, but McDonald's used to have an orange drink. It wasn't carbonated; it was like a juice, and it was just tasted kind of orange, but not like oranges, but tasted orange. If that makes sense.
Like the colour orange.
Yeah.
Rather than
I think I can safely say I've never had a juice from a McDonald's.
No, me neither.
I'm going in McDonald's, it's always strawberry milkshake.
Or just a Coke.
Or just try not to go to McDonald's very much.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm talking about at like kids' birthday parties in the 80s.
Yeah, I had kids' birthday party. Yeah, actually more Burger King than...
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, we didn't have a Burger King the time I grew up in, so...
You guys and your obsession with the Royals.
It was very sophisticated at Burger King in the 80s, if you're a 7-year-old child, because they had like knives and forks and plates and stuff.
Like Wimpy.
Oh yeah, maybe I am thinking of Wimpy.
Wimpy, mate. I remember Wimpy.
Yeah.
And they had this sausage in a bun, but for some reason thought that good marketing would be to call it a bender in a bun. And, where did that one come from? I remember having a birthday party in a Wimpy. Some poor bastard had to dress up in a Wimpy man suit.
So who is the Wimpy man?
Dancer, I don't know.
What does he look like? Obviously he's not a clown.
He's almost dressed like a beefeater, like a London sort of beefeater, Tower of London beefeater. But I think almost like red and white pinstriped.
Finding that hard to imagine. But
he had a big nose, a big plastic face.
Did
any
of this
no
happen?
eyes.
Was he on fire? And then he flew out through the window.
Oh, I'm just trying to remember whether this was a birthday party I went to, whether it's a birthday party I thought I'd had whilst I was on drugs.
I was going to say.
It's quite possible it could be either of the two, really, at the moment.
And then my face melted when I looked at it in the mirror. I'm pretty sure that happened.
That was it, game over.
I was 6.
Right, let's move on
Move on
swiftly.
from Ben's drug-filled youth.
Aadil, what have you played?
I have, as I said last week, I off and on played that, more on to push buttons and not really play the Game of War game. And I've not played it for a couple days, and I just don't care.
You've lost interest very quickly.
Yeah, it was as soon as there's a break and you don't care about the timers, like, I don't need to care about the timers. Oh wait, this game is just timers. Huh.
Nice, you're free.
Yeah, and actually, I alluded to this last week, but it was basically just scratching an itch of playing a game when I didn't life hadn't dealt me time to play a game. So every few hours, I could just log on and push buttons and feel like I was gaining resources like games I enjoy with that, and using them like games I enjoy without actually playing one of those games in which I enjoy. But I started. I mean, if the timers are up, you get into this mode where you're like, oh, gotta just log on for a couple minutes, and it ends up being half an hour. And that's less good when you live with someone and are supposed to be doing things / are not doing housework while the other one is, and you're doing housework together all day, etc. And then I realized, oh, this is dumb. I'm just causing friction and not really playing games. And so now I'm booking reserved game time in the week so that I can just play actual games.
Nice.
Having said that, I haven't actually played much except for Metal Gear Solid 1.
Nice.
On the PS Vita and PS3.
Okay.
Because I bought the PS1 version or the Classics version, which you can install on both systems.
Yeah.
And swap save games. So I beat the first level on the projector, and then beat the second mission in bed, and that was kind of nice. And I think that's a nice segue to our topic, in that we can discuss PlayStation's approach to playing old games.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
because PlayStation's approach is buy it again. Oh, you have more than one of our systems? 1 out of 2,000 games you can buy once and play on both, but the other ones, buy it again and again.
Yeah, when PS3 first launched, the first model of PlayStation 3 that I had backwards compatibility built into it.
I have
an
80 gig.
Have you still got one?
Mm-hmm.
Now, mine died about 2 years ago now, I think, and I had to get a new one. But that was great when it launched, because I had all of these PlayStation 2 games that I could still play on the PlayStation 3. You sold your
PlayStation 2?
No.
So you could still play them on your PlayStation 2?
I could still play them on the PlayStation 2.
So you're moaning that you couldn't just switch off one console? You had to switch off
one. No, I'm not moaning about it. I'm just saying that it was a nice feature, because I only had to have one plugged into the telly then. Mm-hmm. I could, I imagine, I think what I actually did was, we got the PlayStation 3 at Christmas. 6 months later, I moved to uni, so I took the PlayStation 2 with me to uni. The PlayStation 3 stayed at my dad's place, so my brother could use it and I would be able to play games.
You took the PlayStation 2 with you and left the PlayStation 3?
Yeah, the PlayStation 3 was a joint gift between me and my brothers.
Which meant that you didn't get to play
so it stayed well, yeah. It meant that I got to play it at Christmas and in the summer holidays until I bought myself a PlayStation 3. Or until my brother bought himself a PlayStation 3 and I got the old one, basically. But that was fine, because I had all these PlayStation 2 games that I could retain playing. But I think it was nice at launch, because you only had to have the one console plugged in. You could play all of these games that you still had.
Yeah, you've paid money for those games.
Exactly. Whereas, as you say, now with PlayStation 4, you have to, and with the later life of PlayStation 3, you had to buy these games again. Yeah. You didn't have a choice, really.
For me, it was actually not the same. I didn't own a PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3 was the first console I bought since the Super Nintendo, which I bought at a garage sale because everyone had N64s.
Yeah.
And there were some games I had played / wanted to play on the PS2, and I got the PlayStation 3 that had the physical emotion chip in it, like the actual PS2 chip in it, rather than the next run, which had software backwards compatibility that was not as good and glitched out on a handful of really popular games just by the nature of their programming, and then the next run of PlayStation 3 had none. So I could play any PlayStation 2 game, and that was great because then I could get them cheap and play them, and or borrow them from friends who still have PS2s. Like, it gave me access to the new games as well as the old games. So as someone entering the console market, it was really good. And the reason I think mine still works is because it was in storage for 5 years.
Nice.
So 5 years of zero play helped a lot keeping it old. So now I still have PS2 games, which I can play, and PS1 games on disc because it also can emulate PS1, and I can download any game. I just can't play PS4 games.
Yeah, I think the only games that I've retained these days, when I upgraded to PlayStation 4, knowing that you couldn't play your PlayStation 3 games on them, I traded in my PlayStation 3 and all of the games to basically get a better deal on the PlayStation 4 when I bought it. So I just gave up the opportunity of ever being able to play those games again when I upgraded. And it's, as I was saying, it was nice when the PlayStation 3 released because it was really expensive. We got it when it was released, and we didn't actually have to buy any. I think we got a game or two, something like Heavenly Sword, and maybe another game, which came bundled, which we got with the console. But we still had all of these games that we could keep playing if we'd have got rid of the PlayStation 2.
I still haven't played Heavenly Sword, and I still have it, and it was a bundle.
Nice. It is. It's good. It's good. It's a little bit. The controls aren't fantastic. Graphically, it was very nice when it first released, and has led on to another couple of games which were good. Something like Enslaved: Odyssey to the West, which released on all of the consoles at the time and on PC. That's a great game, which uses very similar engine, I think, and very similar physics in that. But yeah, I mean, it's not something that I was interested in as such when the PlayStation 4 released. I think I decided to make the jump to PlayStation 4, and I would only play play those games on console. So many games released now on PC as well, that if I want to play a lot of those older games, apart from the exclusives that come out on PlayStation, then I can do so on PC. But it sort of then leads in. I know PlayStation's approach is you can either sign up to their subscription service, PlayStation Now, and you can rent games, or you can play a monthly subscription to be able to play all of these PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games. Or as Xbox or as Microsoft are doing with some of the 360 games, they're bringing out HD remasters of games. PlayStation are about to drop the Uncharted collection, so you get to play 1, 2, and 3. Again, I assume they're just up-resed, and they're in a higher definition quality. Whether they've actually changed anything else with the games is to be seen. Microsoft are bringing out, is it Gears of War 3? They're about to remaster. They've just done the Halo collection, which they remastered. And it seems they're doing it, but more in this sort of way, where they want you to pay more money for previous games. But it's quite a big deal for Xbox to turn around and say, actually, we're going to bring in backwards compatibility. You can play all of your old 360 games. And I wonder whether they've done it because they've not shifted a huge amount of units on the Xbox One. Because maybe they're thinking, okay, some people have jumped over to PlayStation 4. There's a lot more PlayStation 4s out there than there are Xbox Ones. And so maybe Microsoft thought maybe it would entice a few more people.
Yeah, like if you're going to have to give up all your games for the next console anyway, that's more of an incentive to switch, like families from Xbox to PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it's the way of keeping your customers, like, well, you don't have to chuck away all the money you've invested already in Xbox games. Plus, it's like just trying to be seen like the nice guy in the industry against the... Because there's no reason why PlayStation do it apart from to make money.
Well,
it's really obvious. Right?
we don't know the architecture of the PS3 was so bizarre, the cell with its 9 cores, that I could imagine that it would be hard to emulate, while the Xbox 360 was a much more standard, I think it was ARM-based, but it's a more standard approach, and so what they've done is they built a 100% emulator and tested it through and through. So the PlayStation 2 had a physical, or PlayStation 3 originally had a physical chip. So all the graphics would work because it's literally, good lord, running through the PS2 chip.
Literally running.
Yeah.
It wasn't literally running.
Not figuratively running.
It's literally running. As in process running, not as in...
That's not literally running.
Yeah, that is the correct term.
Anyway.
And then they had the software, and that emulation wasn't that good, and it didn't work. Well, Xbox, they've apparently been sitting on this for months and months and months, this announcement, until they felt like everything worked. Such that the only thing stopping a game from being able to be played is because for copyright reasons, the manufacturer has to say to Microsoft, yes, please make this backwards compatible. That's it. It's literally an administrative move, and then you put the disc in, it calls home to Microsoft. Microsoft says, this is playable, and then you can play the game.
Yeah, then a few people have been chatting, and I'm not sure whether it's been found out yet or the information's been released, whether you're playing it from the disc that you own, or all the disc is doing is authenticating that you own it, and you maybe have to download the game again onto your machine, so that it's then taking up hard drive space and running from that, or whether it's streaming through the internet to be able to run from the servers somewhere.
From what I read in one of the interviews, it's like the disc is just a key. But you're not streaming, you're downloading to your machine, from what I understand.
Yeah, I know one of the sort of big games that a lot of people have been shouting about that they want on this is it Burnout Paradise?
Oh yeah,
which is a great game. I fucking love that game. Which is a big open world driving. I suppose it's a very arcadey driving.
You literally drive to an intersection, stop, and every intersection starts a race of some sort, whether it be a circuit or a time trial or a sprint. So you just go, I'm here now, I want to race, stop. And if you connect to the internet, you'll be racing non-bots. If you're connecting not, then you'll be racing bots. It's just, there's no, like, what do you call those?
Walls?
There's no waiting, right?
Yeah.
For matching. There's no matchmaking. It's literally like on the fly. It's really good. I have it on the PS3 and the PC.
Yeah.
So I think that on that very reasonable segue, let's have another beer.
Yeah, I think
that
so.
Definitely makes sense. That's a sensible segue.
What are we drinking now?
Penny Lane Pale. So I'm assuming Penny Lane are...
That's the name. I think it's by Mad Hatter.
Right, from Mad Hatter. But I'm assuming that if it's... Penny Lane is a Beatles song.
Correct.
Right?
It is. Mad Hatter are a Liverpool-based brewery.
I was gonna say, so therefore it's from Manchester. That would have been really stupid.
And everyone would have just shaken their heads as they were listening.
Well, the Beatles are rubbish anyway.
Whoa, spillage. Oh, saved. So yeah, I'm assuming this is going to be quite similar to what we've to the Anchor beer, really. No, it's called a Liberty Ale. It seems like quite a pale ale.
I'm hoping this will be hoppier. Neither of the beers we've had so far have had really any hop.
No, they've been quite light.
So let's see. I actually quite like the Anchor as it went on. So
It definitely turned into one that you would very easily just have another one straight away, and just be able to continue drinking. Definitely.
This has got
that's a bigger smell.
Yeah, classic kind of bubblegum kind of nose. It's great.
It's a lot more opaque, similar-ish colour, but
well, it was cloudy. I pulled out the last bit, so it's cloudy. It smells fucking great.
That's nice.
I'm loving it.
That's a lot more hoppy.
Yeah, that's a big hop flavour. Nice.
I think we had a Mad Hatter previously, but I can't remember what kind it was.
See, what we should have been doing as we've gone along with these is scored each one of them out of 10 and kept a big chart that we could look at and refer to.
Yeah,
or even just
possibly.
Or even just had a list of what we drank and quick notes.
I was going to say, I have written all of the beers that we've ever had down in a book, but it would then require me, as we're trying to discuss some things, to then look through a book, which I'm not going to do.
Outrageous.
How dare it?
I like this beer.
It's nice. That's very nice. So one of the things I wanted to discuss with backwards compatibility is more modern, more recent games that have come out and games that are going to come out that will span both systems. Not systems, span both generations as such.
Oh, I see.
So say something like the new Call of Duty game, which will be available on 360 and on Xbox One. I think when games are released these days, they're more expensive on Xbox One.
Yeah.
What's to stop you from buying the new Call of Duty for 360 and running it through your Xbox One? Do you think that
the graphics will be shifted?
Possibly. Yeah. Do you think Microsoft will stop it? Will not allow backwards compatibility for new? If it's something that they're able to turn on and off, and they can say, the publisher is allowing us to let you play this game from 360 on your Xbox One. Do you think maybe it's something that they'll turn around and say, well, no, if you want to play this game on Xbox One, it's available on Xbox One. Therefore, that's the only version you're going to be able to play on Xbox One.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do, but I can't see why they would do that. I mean, because it's not going to be the same game. I mean, it'll be the same levels and the same guns and stuff, but like the graphics are clearly going to be worse. Yeah. So it's like there's two tiers of the game. You play the shit game, you play the good game. So you're already at a detriment by playing the shit game.
Yeah.
Why should I punish you?
And if you're a person who is fine with playing the HD but not Super HD version, then you probably don't own an Xbox One.
Yeah, that's true.
Because most of the games are coming out on both, right? But I do get what you're saying. It was a lot. Last console swap, last generation border, it seemed a lot clunkier because a lot of the games that were released for the old, like the Xbox and the PS2, just weren't. It seemed like the upgrade was much larger, and so they coded for the new games and tried to make it playable, and there was a lot more hiccups or laggy parts of a game on the old systems. But it's mostly, as you said, cosmetic. More particles, more pixels, and that's why they're re-releasing PS3 games on PS4 with more pixels. And the people are buying them. So I don't think they're worried about people not buying the more pixel version.
Yeah, I think especially with PlayStation, perhaps it's not as many PlayStations are out there as Xbox. Not as many PlayStation 3s are out there as Xbox 360s. And now the jump to PlayStation 4 has been so big that they must assume that people are coming over from 360 to PlayStation. So a lot of these games, the bigger exclusives, like the Uncharted games, are games that people sort of missed out on as such during the last generation. And they're landmark games. They're big hitters when it came to PlayStation. So I guess that they think they can make some money off of those people by re-releasing them. They're games that a lot of people missed. They're very well received, critically acclaimed, much talked about, as we do now. So people will want to play them. So they must think that by re-releasing them as an HD version, as a different version, that it's an easy win as such. And maybe that's the way that sort of Sony are approaching it. That they don't need to offer backwards compatibility because people don't. A big portion of people that own PlayStation 4s didn't own a PlayStation 3, so may not have a big game collection to be able to replay on their PlayStation 4.
Maybe. It seems like a fairly small portion of their market, the crossover people. I mean, I guess you could have a whole policy based on just those, but it seems fair enough.
Yeah, maybe.
The PS4 sales, though, are much, much higher than the PS3 sales were.
Well, there's more people now than there used to be.
That's true. There are.
I mean, all I'm saying is there's other reasons that might be
right
there as well. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not sure whether I'm for or I'm against there being two big console companies. Like, is it a bad thing? I mean, it sort of is, because you kind of just arbitrarily picking a side.
Yeah, we talked about this before, didn't we?
Yeah.
When we were chatting about exclusivity.
Then, like, would it be better if there was just one, like, company that somehow had control over all of the games that came out? That seems wrong as well.
PC gaming?
Yeah. Well, but maybe if there was a fractured market with like 100 different consoles, that would probably be shit too.
Quite possibly. I mean, then you're dividing development time and things because people want to bring them out on a lot more. You know, if there were, say, 10 different consoles, developers would go, or publishers would say, well, we want our games to reach as many people as possible, so as many people buy them. So we then need to make as many versions of this game as possible to fit as many consoles as we possibly can.
But that takes time and money.
Exactly. So then
they're not going to go.
Resources then have to go into it. So
they're going to make Assassin's Creed #9 because that's going to sell shit, and they're not going to make indie game / new IP at all. Because why would you? That's a risk.
So I mean, we were talking before about that being sort of almost two big consoles. You've always got PC gaming off to one side. Nintendo seems to have become that third console at the moment that's sort of almost doing its own thing. But you know,
yeah, and you can't get Nintendo games on the PC.
So these two consoles almost seem to be the magic number when it comes to sort of very high end competing consoles. So maybe it's just that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not just in consoles, is it? I mean, in phones, you've got like your Apples and your Samsungs and your
Sonys.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got your with
Android.
Like,
I mean, the OS level.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then with like computers generally, you've got your Macs and your PCs or whatever. It's not like only games that have sort of dualistic marketplace out.
The big difference with PCs is there's a billion there's a lot of manufacturers of PCs.
Of PCs, yeah,
but only two manufacturers of PC operating systems.
But I suppose comparably, the maker is similar to the publisher of a game, isn't it? Whoever makes your PC versus who is funding sort of a game. And yeah, like, as we say, you've got either Windows or Mac. You've got other things like Linux and stuff, but
they're not gaming.
You don't get sort of gaming for that sort of thing.
But like,
there's compatibility issues with your Apple operating system and your Microsoft operating system that are just as relevant.
I'm just saying it's not sealed to the hardware in the same way. Like Apple's like a console maker because they make all of the things, and then people have to make software for their specific thing. While Microsoft doesn't fit that paradigm because you develop on their platform, and they only care about selling the operating system. But what's really interesting about this, which we talked about before, is in this console generation, the hardware they're both basically just really strong PCs.
Yeah, completely.
So exclusivity is not one of those resource things. Like when you had to make an PlayStation exclusive, you were coding for that weird cell thing. And it wasn't easy if you were primarily coding for the Sony system to adapt to the Microsoft system and vice versa. So it sort of made sense to put your stamp on one side of the battle, and then as the generation got ahead and people started to understand cell more, the people who were making just Xbox games started making it for both because they could figure it out. But now there is nothing stopping you from making a version for both because it's just the way you tie into the same hardware, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why we're seeing PC games getting AAA titles almost right away as well. Rockstar notwithstanding.
And I was going to say, Rocksteady, unless you're Batman as well.
Oh, right.
You're pulled from Steam because your port to PC is so fucking awful and just broken that nobody can play it. But yes, that's a different conversation.
Sorry,
broken games. Not that we get many broken games these days. There's a few big games that don't come out very well.
Yeah, I mean, you could get early release games, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a lot of early access games which are, but you know almost when you're buying an early access game that it's an alpha version, that you are helping to develop the game and helping to test out the systems that they have in it. When you get something like Batman, which releases and is, the frame rate drops so much that it's almost unplayable. Just lots of different things that just make the game stop working on PC. That's a massive issue. That's a huge dropped ball, really. I don't know numbers in terms of when a game releases on.
So I'm just still thinking of a huge dropped ball. Sorry, I should have.
To take it into did you see the basketball that was dropped off of a dam?
Oh, that was so cool.
Have you seen that? So,
yeah.
So there was a world record attempt to net a basketball through a net, and they dropped it off of a dam and span it, and it rather than it dropping in a straight line, there's some kind of physics-based explanation, some name thing that basically meant that the ball drops and then curves down, and then it basically curved down and bounced along across the water. So something won't allow it to drop straight, but it will curve within space.
When you give it backspin, the air goes at different rates, and because it's accelerating due to gravity, that just spins it more.
Yeah,
the friction of the air, and so that's what causes the backspin to get even bigger. So as it drops, the angle in which it's moving away from the straight vertical increases.
So wait, did it go through the basketball hoop?
No, I don't think it went anywhere near it.
No.
Unless the basketball hoop was in the middle of the dam or in the middle of the water.
Did they not anticipate this effect?
I thought they were trying to display the effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Perhaps the article that I read didn't.
I just watched a YouTube video where someone was explaining it, but maybe they were explaining it at a dam after this attempt. I don't know.
Quite possibly.
Did you hear the thing about the Australian surfboard guy on live TV who got attacked by a shark?
Yeah.
I heard that he punched it.
Yeah, supposedly punched it in the back several times.
Nice. Did he survive?
The shark was fine, yeah.
Swam off, ate somebody else.
No, the dude survived, yeah.
Awesome.
It was live TV, though.
That's really...
you should see it afterwards, Google it. And it's not very much, but it's just sort of off in the distance, and you see a fin just rise out of the water behind him, and him sort of look over his shoulder, and the commentator is just in the middle of saying something, obviously isn't looking at the screen.
Right.
It's like, yeah, that's like 13 points, and it's like not really doing that well. And it's a fucking shark, dude. What are you commentating about? Something actually important is happening on the TV, and you're not noticing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is quality. Right, let's rein it back in.
This is relevant.
Conclude. Conclude. So, just to finish off the conversation, both Aadil and I have upgraded, although you've still retained your PlayStation 3, you've got a PlayStation 4 as well.
No?
Oh, I thought you did.
I have a Vita, a 3, and a 360.
Okay.
I'm tempted to buy a 360. My 360 is not playable because I need to spend $50 on a North American power adapter. Because it turns out every electronic that's been made, you can just change the plug and it works except for Xboxes. So
backwards compatibility.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. You need one of those backwards compatible power adapters. That's what you need.
So Western compatible power thing.
No store carries said power cord. You can buy it straight from Microsoft and it's $50, or you can buy it a third party where a lot of people say after 3 days it gets so hot that the plastic casing falls off.
Burns out.
I just have this picture of Bill Gates having loads of them in his garage. He's like, yep, another $50. All right, sucker.
Just selling them for eBay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got a lot of PC games and my PS3 back, so I'm content right now. But with this 360 getting backwards compatibility, then it's like, well, I could just put that 50 or that money towards an Xbox One, and but at the same time, I have 4 controllers that won't work either. I'll have to bring them to Bristol and Alex can finally use a non-broken controller.
Yeah, a controller that actually has some of the padding on the.
You're definitely getting at least one of them.
So,
all right, cool.
So let me finish the conversation with asking both of you a question. Does backwards compatibility? I'll ask you first, Alex, and then you can answer Aadil. Does backwards compatibility make you want to, or does it take you in any kind of direction towards upgrading from 360 to Xbox One?
Does it make me more likely to upgrade?
Yeah.
No. Do you want me to expand on that?
Yeah, if you wish to, yeah.
I can't afford to upgrade. So
that's fair, yeah.
It's not... I mean... It's like one of those things, I mean, how much money do I have in this scenario? Because it's not the actual scenario, because I can't anyway. So...
Okay, so let's
if I had £1 million,
I was going to say, so let's
I would
say,
do it anyway, even if it didn't.
So let's I'll pose a different question.
Okay.
If you had enough money to be able to buy one of the newer generation consoles, Xbox One or PlayStation 4, does backwards compatibility push you more towards upgrading to an Xbox One?
Do I only just... I mean...
You've only got enough money to buy one.
Right, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'd prefer to have a console. I mean, I have about 20 games, 25 games. It's like if I just had the choice of no games or 25 games. Obviously, I'm gonna go with that. I mean, I'm assuming that there are other benefits to a PlayStation 4, but other than just games, it can do stuff that an Xbox One can't do. Yeah.
No, I think they're both pretty comparable.
It depends on how much bullshit is in the Morpheus project, the upcoming VR thing.
True, but then with Oculus and Microsoft sort of partnering, you're imagining that a lot of VR Oculus games are going to be coming to Microsoft platforms as well.
Yeah.
So it all depends. Yeah, that does depend on how interested in VR you have. But apart from that, I think they're both very comparable.
But the market doesn't.
What they're doing.
Neither of them has AI with Scarlett Johansson's voice on it that would actually fall in love with me, like in that film.
No, I don't think they do.
No.
Aadil, you sure about that?
I
go to tech guy.
Yeah.
No. As far as I know, the closest you've got is Siri.
Not cool.
So, Aadil, does backwards compatibility make you pick a Xbox One over a PlayStation 4?
Ooh, over? Or it makes me more... I've reconsidered Xbox One.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure... That and the Oculus thing, because one of the reasons why I'm looking to upgrade to the PS4 is because I am, after my experience with the Oculus on PC, super curious what the consoles, which tend to be a little more tighter in integration and stuff, will come out with.
Yeah.
Xbox One... Maybe. I mean, right now I'm in the same boat as Alex, and I think they're just both really expensive now. And I have a decent PC, and so I've got a backlog of games. So even if I had the money, I probably wouldn't be buying one in this next while.
If I had the money, I'd be going to Greece on a super cheap holiday whilst their economy's fucked.
Oh dear!
I'd be spending the money on.
I have just bought some euros at a very, very good rate. So. Now is the time to get into currency exchange.
Oh dear. Well, no.
On that note, we should go on, Adam. Sorry, dude.
If Greece decides to leave, the euro will go up.
Yeah, they're not leaving. That ship sailed. Well, they're not leaving soon anyway.
They're not leaving soon. All of the people that live in Greece are very angry.
Yeah, fair.
But they can't do shit.
They can't do shit. They can riot.
It's been thousands of years since they were a military force to be reckoned with. I mean, back in the day, if this was 300 BC, I'd be like, don't fuck with the Greeks, whatever you do. They could fuck us, or at least on Macedonia.
Right, but the austerity measures that they need to take are just going to plunge them into a larger depression. It's just when they go on their referendum, I will say this, if the referendum goes to yes, leave the EU, that's when, as soon as they say no, we don't want to leave the EU, that's when you buy your euros. It'll drop that day.
Quite possibly. So, we should finish by saying austerity is shit and doesn't actually work.
Correct.
Although I cannot cite my statement off the top of my head.
Which is why everyone should buy a next-gen console, right? That's
Exactly. Exactly.
What's your beer of choice? My Skittle of choice, as always, is red.
Ooh,
Red.
a good Skittle choice. I like the purple ones.
They're my second.
For beer, I'm going with our final beer, which is the Mad Hatter Penny Lane Pale.
Well, I liked all of the beers.
Yeah, they were all good.
The Penny Lane Pale was the nicest one, definitely.
The Saison was good. It was nice and light.
The Saison was nice, yeah. It's hard to pick. I guess I'll go with the Penny Lane.
Yeah.
I mean, it just was nice. It wasn't very much like that exciting about it, but then, just sort of hit the spot for a nice drink.
Yeah.
I think that the Anchor Liberty Ale delivered more than I was expecting, whereas the Penny Lane delivered what I wanted.
Yeah, I think so. I think
sometimes that's not very exciting.
Yeah, with the Liberty, it grew and it definitely got a lot better.
So I'm tempted.
For the drink.
Maybe just for the sake of being contrary, I'll go for the Liberty Ale.
Okay,
that's my favourite.
Nice.
So you heard it here first. Have a Liberty Ale with a side of Penny Lane and a couple red Skittles.
Exactly, but maybe have a Wild Beer Saison first, because they all seem to work up into each other quite well, didn't they? It's quite a good selection of beers that worked well after each other.
We have only had them in that order, though, so maybe there's a better order out there.
Yeah, quite possibly.
We should have them again and drink them in different orders.
In a completely different order.
No, it's shit. This one's awful now.
Right.
We should have a double blind day.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be super interesting.
We should discuss.
Where Alex's known penchant for simple yet elegant labeling won't come in as a factor.
Right. You can reach us at tankedup.cast@gmail.com
Just out
if you want to.
How many emails are in there at the moment backed up? What's the backlog?
The backlog is, off the top of my head, 0. Which is fine, because it means I don't have to check emails all the time. We're on Twitter at tankedup_cast. I'm at Nova_47. Aadil is at the Omniarch.
TheOmniarch.
Oh, you're getting good at that. Nice. So we have been Tanked Up. That's it for another week. We shall catch you again.
Bye.
Bye.